Okay, wrapping up for today, we've got one more presentation. Many of you know about Covington Aircraft. They do engine overhaul stuff, particular PT6 and radials, and they have been a great supporter of IAMA and missionary aviation over the years. But we don't know a lot about Covington. Great Christian guys. When we're up at the AirVenture Oshkosh event every year, one of their guys helps do a devotional for us in the evenings, and we just really appreciate these guys. And I've asked them to just tell us a little more about Covington and give us some history there. So David Hamilton, who's also on the IAMA board, an employee at Covington there, will share with us now. So David, share with us.
Well, good afternoon. This is David Hamilton with Covington Aircraft Engines. Just want to extend my greetings to everyone there at the IAMA 2021 virtual conference. We appreciate being a part of this. I'd like to extend our thanks, not just from me, but from Covington Aircraft and the Abbott family, and we appreciate you letting us participate. Glenn had asked me to maybe give a short story about how Covington came to be, how we became involved with missions aviation, and just that whole process, maybe some of the backstory that you wouldn't normally see on a website or that you would read in a brochure. And so I'll try to make a short video for you. You'll figure out very quickly this is not a professional video, but hopefully I can convey the heart of Covington Aircraft, which is missions aviation. And we appreciate a chance to do that. The story really starts back in 1968, right when Paul is coming out of the Vietnam War, out of the Army, and he enrolls at LeTourneau University with his heart set on being a maintenance technician in the world of missions. And so as Paul starts there in LeTourneau, eventually him and Betty are married the following year. And they end up having a child on the way, and Luke is born while they're at college there in LeTourneau. And then they start moving toward their first home missions project. Well, at the same time, you have a man by the name of Bob Covington. That Bob had set up radial aircraft engine facilities in the past, but he wanted to start another one. He came to Okmulgee, Oklahoma to do it. So you have Paul and Betty, and you have Bob Covington all conveying on Okmulgee at the same time, even though they didn't know each other. Bob has come to build a radial engine shop, and Paul and Betty have come to work with a missions maintenance upstart here on the Okmulgee Airport. Of course, missions aviation was absolutely no pay for them, so they had to support themselves, and Paul worked part-time during that time for the city of Okmulgee to help take care of the airport at a whopping $1.25 an hour. We've always kidded Paul about this is actually where he ran out of gas after he left LeTourneau. So Paul was here and worked with this missionary maintenance upstart at the time, helping them. And at the same time, Bob Covington is at the Okmulgee Airport as well, starting his radial engine shop. Well, as the missionary maintenance facility seemed to fade away, Paul and Betty were left here at the airport wondering what the Lord had for them next. So in praying to do that, Bob approached them. Bob, good Christian man, and asked him if he would help him with the shop. And so Paul starts to help Bob during this time to set up Covington Aircraft. Well, about 3 years into this project, Bob decided that he was going to leave the business and move back to his hometown. Well, just naturally, he approached Paul and Betty about whether they would like to buy the business, which this for sure was not on Paul and Betty's radar because they wanted to be involved in missions aviation. Why would they want a business? But in praying about that and approaching wise counsel, they realized that the Lord could use them to put missionaries on the field as well as support missions aviation with the business. So they bought the business, which really meant they bought a pile of bills, and we had absolutely no engine orders at that time. And they had 6 employees. So at a very young age, now this couple is starting to build a business, and they were determined that the business was the Lord's. And they've always made that clear in the 40-something years that I've been here that this business belongs to God. And they quickly wanted to see if they could outgive God with the business, which Lord, we all know the Lord's not going to allow that. So we saw tremendous growth during those years. As Paul and Betty built the business, we were building approximately a building a year. In very short order, we had 60 employees. So though Bob started out the business in 1972, Paul and Betty, in honoring Bob, kept the Covington Aircraft name, but now Paul and Betty owned it in 1975, and we quickly became a very dominant force in the radial engine aircraft market. That was in agricultural aviation, some missions aviation, also Beavers, float planes, twin beaches, all these older aircraft. They're still being used today. We were building engines for that. So it eventually came to one time there we were building 5 to 7 engines per week with those 60 employees, and we're really making an impact in the radial engine market. But what we did notice is our main market, which was agricultural aviation, was quickly adopting this new engine called a PT6A engine. We knew nothing about this engine, but we knew our customer base was going that direction. So we knew we needed to be in the turbine engine market as well. So as we're researching that and which way can we go, Paul was working with Ron Hollis quite a bit, the foreman that was here at the shop, and they were figuring out how were we going to go PT6A. What we did not know is Pratt & Whitney Canada at the same time was realizing, listen, there's a lot of potential in this agricultural market. And there was for them, but they knew they were not very nimble to be able to work in an AOG environment and help the agricultural community. So they were out and about within the agricultural world asking, who should we partner with that understands ag aviation? And Covington Aircraft's name kept coming up. So eventually what happened is Pratt & Whitney approached Covington Aircraft about being involved in the agricultural community. So between Paul Abbott and Gilles Ouimet, a gentleman's agreement was made that we would continue to do anything that mission aviation needed us to do, whether it was Dash 60A or whether it was a 114A or whatever model. But our approval with Pratt & Whitney was just in the agricultural world, the AG engines. So that's where we started out, but we did missions aviation kind of under the radar with Pratt & Whitney's handshake approval that we would do that. The Abbotts would not move forward without taking mission aviation with us. Well, that continued to grow. And of course, that secret didn't last very long. We were doing 114As for missionary couples. So why in the world would someone else that is using a 114A for corporate not call us? They were convinced that we were economical, that our turn time was good, and we were very competitive in that market. So we had corporate aviation continue to approach us. And eventually, because we were a U.S.-owned small business, military subcontract work started to approach us. So by the time we got to 2010, we had become a distributor and designated overhaul facility for Pratt & Whitney, which included all PT6A models, except for the Dash 68, which is a military application, but we were doing everything else. So the business continued to grow at that rate there, and we end up now currently the only U.S.-owned DOF facility for Pratt & Whitney Canada. We're very proud of that, but we've been very blessed. The measuring stick for us is still missions aviation. We've continued to make sure that's always been a part of our contract with Pratt & Whitney Canada. We've been privileged over the last 5 years to do a little over $7 million worth of work with missions aviation. We've been involved in 72 different countries. So we're very thankful for that. The Lord continues to grow our business. We now have the 2 facilities here in Oklahoma. We also have a hot section, power section shop in Mississippi that really is concentrated on our agricultural market that is over there. And we've expanded with an overhaul facility in Brazil. And we'll be opening up another facility in Bournemouth, England, in the near future. So we're very excited about that. The Lord continues to grow us. We've opened up additional coating shops here at our facility. We'll add a second test cell this year. So God has been good to us, and we realize where these blessings are coming from. And missions aviation is a big part of that. We're very thankful for that. And if you did not allow us to participate with you in the field, then our dream and the ultimate reason for Covington Aircraft just wouldn't exist. And that's to support missions aviation. So we want to thank you for that. God's been good to us, and we ask him to continue to bless you. Thank you for being part of Covington Aircraft. If you would actually like to see a tour of the shop, Covington Aircraft has a YouTube channel that you can connect with off of our website, covingtonaircraft.com. And there's several videos on there, but you can also see just a tour of the maintenance shop. It's a little dated, but it'll show you both facilities. So we'd encourage you to see that. Also, if you'd like to see a personal testimony about Paul Abbott, really involved around Laterno University and the flight department that we've been involved in there. You can go to their website, or again, you can Google that on YouTube and see where it is Covington Aircraft / it says powered by God. So if you'd like to see Paul and hear his testimony, that's a good place to do it. So again, thank you for your time. We ask all of God's blessing on you. Thank you again for letting us be involved, and God bless you.
Hey, thank you, David. Really appreciate the update there. You know, when I listened to this, I went, wow, I'm amazed. I didn't realize there was that much background and that much really commitment to the Lord and what you guys are doing there. So I am sure that we're all blessed. I know you guys have done a lot of training and other work, helping people with PT6 training. And so it's been a real blessing. Well, we've come to the end of our first day of the IAMA conference. I think it's been good. And there'll be more opportunities tomorrow for the things that are going on. We'll see you again at 11 Eastern. I don't know what time zone you're in, but you can figure that out. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Sleep well and have a blessed day.